Hey, it's Obi Chukwumah, Space and Equity. We're all about increasing assets and creating new space. Here to talk today about an article I read from the Federal Reserve press release. So, Ronald D. Paul, former CEO of Eagle Bank, not to be confused with Rand Paul, the politician. Ronald D. Paul was barred from working in the industry due to Reg Z violations. You may ask, what's Reg Z? Reg Z stipulates how a CEO, an executive of the bank, a board member needs to disclose, be involved, not be involved in transactions that involve them with the bank. So the CEO of a bank, Eagle Bank, received $100 million in loans. I'm not saying the loans are bad, I'm just saying the loans were in violation of Reg Z. Why were they in violation? I don't know. The press release just simply stated that Eagle Bank was fined $9.5 million by the Fed. The SEC said, we got to get ours too. So the SEC fined them over $22 million. The Federal Reserve fined the CEO, the former CEO himself, an additional $90,000. And the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, fined $521,000. So all told, Mr. Paul was fined just north of $600,000, but he received $100 million in loans that were said to be in violation of Reg Z. Like I said, not necessarily bad loans. Maybe they wrote a good loan. He's properly repaying the loans, $100 million, but he did something to be barred from banking for the rest of his life. The fact that Mr. Paul can no longer work in the banking industry is not what's interesting to me. What's interesting to me is what I would say, is it the cost of doing business? Now mind you, when you take a commercial loan, it's a good loan. He took this loan, these loans, primarily for real estate purposes. Let's say he bought real estate, income producing property real estate, industry reserve real estate, medical real estate, single family, multifamily. Whatever he did, it was $100 million worth of real estate, and he did that for investment purposes. Probably since he works at the bank, and he's a good sponsor, he probably got good rates. I would say, based on this news coming out now, this was done in the past. Let's say it was done in the window of 2010 to 2021. You know that he got rates below 5% on $100 million. So let's just say he had to pay a fine of $600,000, north of $600,000, and he can no longer work in the industry. But he got $100 million. Let's say the $100 million was invested over 15 years and got him a return of, I don't know, maybe 10% on his investment. So a 10% return on his investment. He's spending $100 million. I'll give you a better example. We're borrowing for our scooters franchise, we're borrowing $1.1 million to make $1 million a year, roughly $15 million in 15 years. That's how long we'll have the lease, at least. So if we make $15 million in 15 years, and then we have an average NOI, this includes all the expenses, even the cost of the loan itself, blah, blah, blah. We have a 20% return. 20% on $15 million is, well, 10% on $15 million is $1.5 million. So $3 million is our net return in 15 years. All right, take that to $100 million. If he gets a 20% return over, let's just say we're borrowing $1.1 million to make $1 million a year. Let's say he's borrowing $100 million to make $10 million a year. So over 15 years, he's gonna make $10 million, $100 million, $150 million. And please understand that debt is being serviced in that equation. That's the net. So if he makes $150 million in 15 years, and 20% is $30 million. Would you spend $600,000 to make $30 million and that covers all your expenses? Perhaps. So is it the cost of doing business to do what he did to get $100 million? He can't work in the industry anymore, but he's definitely got a real estate portfolio. He probably can do consulting, do other things. It's interesting, white collar crimes and the penalties that they carry versus blue collar crimes or crimes committed by people with less wealth and the penalties they carry. You can compare. When you come correct, they can't stop you.